Welcome to Brain Software podcast number 140, reaching out to the planet from the hypnotic world epicenter, Toronto, Canada. I'm Chris Thompson, and today, Mike Mandel and I will be giving you the tools to make next year your best year ever. So stay connected because it's going to be awesome.
Hey, Scroll. What's happening, dude? I dropped in from the 42nd dimension to say howdy and wound up on this effing locomotive.
And I'm here with you, Dr. Ambrose. Welcome to the only 100% ant-proof railway engine in the world.
Tickets, please. Have your tickets ready. Next station stop, Willoughby. Willoughby is next.
That's our stop, Dr. Ambrose. Get your Atavachron ready.
Dude, no way, Pouch. This is that freaking Twilight Zone episode again where Willoughby's the funeral home. Everybody winds up dead.
I know that, Dave. And we're riding the Iron Bastard into the trancing new tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that surely sucks, Scro. Whatever did happen to that old tranquility we used to know?
These are days of victory!
Scroll.
So let's welcome to the hypnotic Pullman car a man who's recovering from an eye problem and had to look like a pirate for several days. A man whose train never leaves the tracks, but it does leave the station. And the living, breathing Hypnoticon himself, Mike Mandel!
Yes, Christopher, we are back, and man, it's a snow-filled landscape out your door.
It sure
It's
is.
crazy.
As we are recording this, it is early December. I think we are scheduled to go live with this on December 20th. So it's just a few days prior to Christmas if you're listening to this when we publish it. And we had the snow start to come down hard in the Toronto area. So
Yeah,
kids,
this
of
is
course,
the
are
Great White
thrilled.
North.
They get when the buses are canceled, even though my kids aren't bused, nobody goes to school. So they celebrate and have a good time.
Good.
All right,
we have
let's go.
stuff to talk about, bro, and I want to talk about. Let's talk about the UK Hypnosis Convention.
Oh, my
Adam
goodness.
Easton did a spectacular job taking it over
Yep.
from our friend Nick. And I just think that conference was so good. We missed a year. We were at the
Yes.
second one, and we're at the fourth one. And I think this is a regular thing for us now. We've just got to get back to Britain every November.
It's great. You know, we've had some podcasts go live between when we were in London and now, but this is the first one we're recording after returning from the ship because we were so
Right.
busy teaching in Toronto and then recovering from the exhaustion.
Yeah, man. 3 days.
The UK Hypnosis Convention, so it was started by our friend Nick Ebden. Then he passed the reins over to Adam Eason, and Adam has done a fabulous job. He's built a wonderful team around it, and it's just
stellar.
such a blast. So
And Anthony Jacquin did an amazing
Keynote.
We met Jorgen Rasmussen, made friends with him, and it's just going to be a phenomenal yearly event. And what I heard again and again was, especially from the Belgian Brain Pirates,
oh, I love those
Babarch,
guys.
ahoy! and of
Quelle
course,
finesse.
quelle finesse. We heard that it's great for us to go there because people who want to train with us who can't come to Toronto, a lot of the Europeans can train with us in England.
Yeah,
so
and
that
there's a
works
lot
well.
of great stuff. So if you are in Europe or anywhere close to the London area, plan for it in 2020. We're going to be back.
You betcha.
All right, what else do you want to talk about?
We got a new location.
Oh, yeah. So actually, this is really nice timing because I got an email from, I think I copied you on my response to him, a fellow named Mitch, and he described grief. He was a 19-year employee in an organization, loved his job, and then through downsizing, just boom, it was gone one day. And he wanted to know, how the heck do I handle this? And I didn't really have any personal history to explain, but I did explain that recently, with where we'd been renting space for quite a long time, there was some changes that happened and some policies that got implemented that weren't really working for us. So we decided to start looking for new space.
Yeah.
And it was really stressful for me, as you know, when we were in London dealing with this. It was really stressful for quite a long time. But we pre-framed in advance that we were going to use this transition as a way to improve everything about our live classroom experience.
Well, that was your pre-frame,
Yeah.
and I think it was a damn good one.
And it
because
took a
it's
lot of
worked.
work, and there was admittedly, lots of stress. There were even a few sleepless nights for me. Not sleepless, but just really crap sleep.
Yeah, just
but
8 or 10
we
hours
framed it
instead
in
of 14.
advance. I looked at it like a relationship that was ending, not because I wanted it to, because some things changed, and I didn't have any control over the changes. I wasn't happy with them, so we needed to make the change good for us. So we went on a mission to find awesome space, and we did.
Oh, did we ever, man?
As a result, so that's my advice to anyone going through sort of a change, a relationship that's falling apart, or that you can't do anything about, a job that's disappeared on you, whatever it is, frame it as an opportunity to improve.
Well, that's great, Chris, because we have done this in the past when I was no longer working with NLP Canada as their hired hypnosis gun. You and I turned it into something quite different, and I'm thrilled that we did. It worked well for everybody, and this is another great transition. Let's just say the view from our new spot in right downtown Toronto is phenomenal.
Yep.
And you've got to see it to
Our
believe
new
it.
training location is right downtown, essentially near the Queen and Bay intersection of Toronto.
So Dundas Square, the Eaton Centre, Yonge Street, it's all there.
It's on the subway line. It's a few minutes walk from Union Station. So people who are training in via rail or GO train, if you're in the Toronto area, or if you're driving in, there's like 2,000 parking spots across the street in the underground parking garage. It's just phenomenal. So close to. So come to the Toronto Hypnotic World Epicenter. Train with us here. The April class is already open for registration at MikeMandel.hypnosis.com/events.
And stick around for Bob Burns coming in from Scotland to teach the Swan and other stuff.
Also
so,
in April. Okay.
Let's talk about, we're going to make 2020 the best year ever. This can be a tight little podcast, and we're just going to throw out a ton of ideas and questions that you can ask yourself to decide in advance what you're going to do to make 2020 great. I'm going to do it. Chris is going to do it. We're going to apply these things ourselves. We have in the past. I'm wondering if I'm going to stick with onward as my word, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, and you know what? I have an idea just to make sure we keep this on track and not belabor the point too long. We have our think tank words. Why don't we just mention them and then incorporate them as we talk? Rather than, so three think tank words that Mike's put in here are brink, mentor, and payee.
Payee is such a
P-A-Y-E-E, a person being paid. So brink, mentor, and payee. So rather than us talking about them now, let's just leave them in the background and see when they tie in.
I think we're at the brink of beginning.
All right, I love it.
Okay, listen. My first one here I'm thinking of is start by decluttering your life. And look at the new year as a time to go into everything fresh. If you really treat it that way, you can declutter your mind, you can declutter your workspace, you can declutter your relationships by, as we say, you periodically have to fire people who have become toxic and are not going to change. And my wife has decluttered our space at home. And she did this in such a way that she's very much like my mother was. If something isn't nailed down, if you haven't used it for 20 minutes, it's out
garbage.
The frickin' door. Yeah. So I just have to use things in rotation really fast all the time.
It's a nice metaphor too, because if you think about it, people who have messy physical areas, I don't mean that kind of physical area. If you have a messy physical...
We'll edit that out.
If you have a messy... We're not editing that out. That's so funny. We haven't used that joke in a while.
Oh, man.
If you have a messy closet or a messy... often I'm guilty of throwing clothes on my side of the bed. When I clean up... all of a sudden, other things are clean. My brain, my planning. So just think about it. I cleaned up. In fact, I cleaned up our studio recently. I reorganized the furniture in here, and I feel much better when I'm working in this studio space now.
This is a very interesting phenomenon that goes into other areas of life. Heather's mother, God rest her soul, I had a great mother-in-law, really smart lady, and she said, when you get your car washed, it runs better. Now, it was an interesting thing because I've noticed the same thing. You get your car washed after it's been filthy from going up and down to the cabin or something, get the car detailed and washed, and it seems to run better.
It does seem to.
It's the decluttering.
It's just like if I take my car in to have something fixed, like anything, something unrelated will seem like it's better in the car.
So later. To declutter your life, my wife says the way to do it is you remove things. This is so Japanese. You remove things that are not useful or beautiful.
That makes a ton of sense.
And some things, if you're nervous about getting rid of them, take a picture of them. Yep. Keep the picture. You can still remember them. So
you can always buy it back later.
Now get us onto the one word, Chris. Let's get that sucker ready to go.
Okay, so now that we're heading into the new year, what is your one word going to be for 2020? Now, we've done this for a few years in a row.
It's been phenomenal.
My word this year was new, and I may keep it. I'm not sure.
I thought yours was manage or management.
No, management was a couple of years ago.
I'm at an age it all runs together.
Yeah, new is the most recent. 3 letters.
Oh, I thought you said nude.
N-E. Yeah, I know you did.
Right,
yeah. It's all about clean physical spaces, Mike. So,
do you know what's worse than being nude in public?
No.
Being nude in public and having a heart attack.
Oh, that would be really bad.
I just made that up then.
Yeah,
It's weirdly clever, isn't it?
I thought you were going to say something entirely
different. It's funny because it
different.
isn't. Of course you did. We'll talk about that over lunch.
All right, so, yeah, I don't even know what my word is going to be.
But the point for this, for those just applying this for the first time, you get one word that encapsulates all the stuff that you want for the coming year.
And it's a gut feel.
Yeah.
What's the word? What's your intuition tell you that word should be?
Yeah, and mine has been onward for a couple of years, and it's been a great one for me. I experimented with the word flow for a while. That was a mistake. I found I was just zoned out all the time.
Yeah, you're too lazy.
And
just, it's okay, we'll get to it. Yeah.
Get your one word ready to go. And we mentioned about the navigator system on a previous podcast, like 1 or 2 podcasts ago. I say, be a podcast.
Be a podcast. Use the
Start using the
system.
navigator. Start getting some direction with the towards and away from statements, and use
remember,
apposition of opposites.
Podcast 139, the episode right before this one, probably in the last 10 minutes of that episode, that's when we disclose how to use the navigator system. So you don't have to purchase it from our website. If you want to, that's wonderful. We'll take your money. But you can listen to the last 10 minutes of that episode and you can get a pretty good idea of how it works.
Now,
no charge.
That's good. Let me ask you, Chris. If you ask your unconscious mind right now, go inside and ask your unconscious mind, what is important right now? What comes up?
Oh, quality time with my family and laughing more. I'm at a time in my life
hang out with me more, you'd laugh
Yeah,
more.
well, I laugh with you all the time, but you know what? Being a parent, sometimes with 2 daughters that are currently 12 and 15. Well, guess what? Things get stressful. There's screaming and yelling in the house sometimes. And it can really piss parents off, and it can take humor out of things. And when I consciously go, you know what? Need to inject more humor into this situation.
Well, like rent a clown costume or something.
And then hold an axe. Yeah. Things get better. So laughter and quality time, putting the freaking devices down when you're in that quality family, because that's been a priority for me for a while. But sometimes I slip into old patterns and go, I need to do some work right now. It's
different for you, though, bro, because you're running a business that essentially runs 24/7.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to check because there's customers to deal with and all of that.
But nothing's going to happen if I don't for an hour. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Nothing. Like if I happen to be reviewing something from a customer or whatever it is, there's nothing bad that's going to happen if I just put the iPad or the phone down and don't touch it for the next hour.
You guys don't have it on the table at dinner time, do you?
No, don't allow them.
Good for you, man. That's good.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about relationships. One of the questions we want you to think about is, what relationships will you drop? And what relationships will you repair or renew? Let me give you an example.
Mike,
it was either 2 or 3 years ago. Yes?
This is an intervention.
Oh, you bastard. You're dropping this, the business relationship. He actually put his hand on my shoulder to make it scarier. Here's one for you.
Okay,
either 2 or 3 years ago, and you're well aware of this, Chris, because you helped me track down the information here with your tech knowledge. One of my booking agents who I'd worked with, I will not name, but I'd worked with this guy for probably 25 years. Got me a lot of work. And just things started to seem a bit odd.
I remember this. Yeah, I remember this.
And we discovered he was doing some shady stuff, and he wasn't giving me the truth. I now find out he probably was ripping me off for a very long time by contracts under different amounts and stuff, and telling a client it was one amount. Then he was booking people saying I wasn't available, and they go in at a bargain basement rate, and he'd book them at my rate and keep the extra. And this all came out, and he tried to backpedal and tried to hide it, and he just dug himself into a deeper and deeper hole. Told us he'd taken it off his website. Chris checked and said, no, he hasn't. He's just denied us access to it. And so guess what? 25 years of this guy working with him. He was my friend. I dropped the relationship.
So he was
toxic.
He was listing you on his website really as bait so that he could get other people at a similar rate, pocket the profit, and sort of use you as a name.
Saying Mike is not available, but so-and-so is, and he's the same price. Meanwhile, the guy was like 2,000-3,000 cheaper.
And he'd write a contract to the other guy for
that's
much
pretty
less.
well what we think was going on. So he backed off from it all. Anyway, I closed down that relationship. It was sad because I had good times with the guy. I still liked him in some ways, but I'm not going to let somebody in my life who's screwing it up.
I remember.
I can't trust.
I remember because he was emailing you saying, well, I'll just do this, I'll just do that. And you were very firm. You said, I understood, but no, you're going to remove me.
Yeah, remove me from the thing. Yeah. Now, what about relationships you repair or renew? You know, that's a good thing. It can just be a neglect thing. Like some of the guys in our British Jiu-Jitsu class, I'm thinking about the other Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm
we
thinking
haven't seen him in so long.
Adam.
Yeah.
But we've seen Raheem, but a bunch of guys we have not seen. And so maybe we'll go to Jiu-Jitsu tomorrow and start rebuilding those relationships because we've been too damn busy.
Yeah, because what is important to you from a relationship perspective that you just haven't been investing time in? All of this is like... The metaphor my wife and I like to use about any relationship is it's like a garden that you have to weed and manicure and keep care of. If you don't do anything, it just entropy takes over, right? And it looks like crap.
Yes,
in a little while.
definitely. That's a good line.
Yeah. So relationships are like gardens.
And
you've got to pull the weeds out.
And relationships, though, it's about giving back. You know, I mean, so much is about giving back.
You have to invest time in them.
And it said, you know, it was Horace Mann said that wonderful quote. He said, "Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity." I mean, that is just an incredible line. It's such
He's
a
a horseman?
Horace
Mann, I know. I was just kidding.
Pallid attempt at humor. You can see why there's not much laughing around here.
Clearly, I'm
here.
not British.
You like? I'm sort of doing a scarecrow laugh, but not quite.
Combine it into a guinea pig laugh, Dan.
Okay, so continue, buddy.
All right, what else we got here? We are on... don't spread yourself too thin.
Oh, I know.
This is a really important one. And I know that a lot of the metaphors I offer you, stories from my life, tend to be business related. So I'll just throw this one out there. Right. That many years ago, when I left my job as a stock analyst, I had lots of projects that I thought would be tons of fun. And for example, even our business, the Mike Mandel Hypnosis business, I had other things I was doing. They weren't as fun, but I thought, well, once I get them up and running, I'll be able... No, sorry, other way around. It was once that we got our stuff up and running, I'd be able to spend more time on these other projects that seemed like cool ideas. Well, it turned out that it was way more fun and way better economically to just invest much more time in this one business. And it's worked out remarkably well. So if I was to continue spreading myself thin, then this business never would have flourished that we're in, and the other one still would have not flourished. They would have just been afterthoughts. And actually, I'll credit my good friend Val. And he was the one, my business partner, in a couple of other things that we were working on. Him. So Val was. I hope he listens to this. Maybe I'll tell him to listen to it. I haven't talked to him in years. Yeah, that's another. You know what? One. That's a relationship I should probably rekindle. He's an awesome freaking guy.
Yeah.
And anyway, he called me up one day and said, "Look, I know that this has never been your plan A, but it's always been my plan A, and I just don't think that we're aligned correctly on it, and I think we should part ways on this business." Yeah. And I said, "Yeah, I totally agree. You're absolutely right. Thanks for calling me out on it." Now, I wasn't dishonest, never made inappropriate promises as to how I'd spend my time, but I think he was probably hoping I would spend more time. I was hoping he'd continue to be fine with me doing what I said I would do, and it was the right thing for him to do, to call it out and say, "Yeah, you're spreading yourself too thin, buddy. We've got to pack this one in."
This is interesting because it was even in Lord of the Rings. Bilbo Baggins is complaining. He said, "I feel like butter that's being spread too thin over a slice of bread."
Yeah.
It's just like, we can't, there are physical limits. I worked with a friend years ago, and he had a million things on the go. And I said, "You got so many irons in the fire." He said, "Oh, more irons the better." And I said, "Except they share the heat." They
share the heat.
You only have 24 hours a day. Share the heat.
Yeah.
So yeah, good point. Good point. Now, here's an interesting one, especially for you, Chris, because you're the wizard here. What are you going to focus on in your finances? Are you going to focus on saving? Are you going to focus on more income? Are you going to focus on less spending?
Yeah, everybody needs to become financially savvy. If you don't have a frickin' clue how to manage money such that you can eventually become wealthy enough to support yourself and, have your house owned, have no debt, put your kids through college, have an enjoyable life where money isn't a worry for you, you need to solve that problem. There are lots, and we're not going to talk about it for very long, but there's books that you can read, there's stuff that you can do to get smart about money, and time is on your side. The earlier you start, the better. I've always encouraged
I'm going to get down to it.
The relatives in my wife's side of the family, mostly, who were going through their late teens, becoming adults, and I'm telling them, look, if you can put away even $5,000 a year over the time that you work when you're in your probably by the time you're 60, you will be wealthy.
Yeah, the power of
Absolutely.
compound interest. Yeah.
I will say there are a bunch of good books out there. I liked Money, Master the Game by Tony Robbins.
Yep.
It was a fairly
all
recent
the
book. It's a
fundamentals,
very
isn't
big book. Yeah, but simple stuff. When I was starting out learning about investing, I read The Motley Fool Investment Guide when I was about I want to maybe see 21 years old. So The Motley Fool Investment Guide, that completely changed things for me and taught me the power of long-term buy and hold investing. Don't dick around and trade and back and forth. Basically, put your money somewhere that over a long period of time, it will grow for you. And you have to save. It's absolutely essential. So what can you cut out of your life, spending-wise,
Stop
to
the trickle.
enable...
Stop the leak in the boat,
Yeah,
first
plug
of
the
all.
leaks.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that comes back to your wife's point about cleaning up a space. What is not necessary, and beauty in this case doesn't really apply to money. But what spending is unnecessary,
and just routine,
that you
without
can
thinking.
get rid of it, right?
Yeah, especially credit card debt. Good grief. But,
Yeah.
just on this final point here, I read a thing recently, Chris, and it said the average Canadian in this survey, do you know what their investment plan was? And this sounds
Hope
like...
they win the lottery.
Yeah, literally. I hope to
I've
win
heard
the
this
lottery.
before. It's very sad.
Man.
Listen, you're not going to win the lottery. Don't plan on winning the lottery. Plan on becoming your own freaking lottery.
Don't jinx
like
me.
Be your own. That doesn't sound very good. Be your own lottery. No.
Yeah.
Make your own lottery winnings. You have to invest in your own personal portfolio. Every major area in the world probably has some sort of retirement savings plan or legal tax avoidance scheme. In the case of Canada, we have something called a... my brain's gone numb here, Mike.
Oh, welcome to your elderly years. It's just starting. Believe me, it gets a lot worse.
Tax-free savings account.
All right, this isn't a financial podcast, so let's keep going. So we got to, how will you be generous in 2020? I'm a real believer that generosity comes back, and you don't, not generous for the sake of something coming back to you, but it really does work. And I've quoted Zig Ziglar many times. He said, you can get anything you want out of life if you help enough other people get what they want. I think that's true.
That's been a big factor in our business, too, where we're generous with our time and with helping promote other awesome
trainers,
people, and helping. Like, I'm always the first one to say, hey, if someone comes to our, let's say, our architecture of hypnosis, and they ask questions about business, hey, you want to talk? Jump on a Zoom call, Skype call, whatever it is, and we can talk through some of these problems later.
How much do you bill them?
I really mean that. Don't
How much
bill
do you
anybody.
bill them for your expertise?
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered to set up a system to do that, to be honest, because I don't want to spend that much time doing it. But when people come to our class and they want to have their questions answered, and we don't have time in that 40-hour class to answer all of them, if you want to talk more business stuff, you just hop on the phone with me or an online meeting or whatever, and we get it covered.
Nice.
It's just way easier. So be generous with your time. That's absolutely a good thing, to a limit, because you can't just let
you don't
people,
be overscheduled.
You don't want to let people take all your time either.
It's like, Chris, people still want to see me for therapy and personal change, and I only do it by Skype now, and or Zoom, and I only do it on Thursdays,
right?
And not every Thursday. It's just I picked a slot, and if I'm going to see someone, it's going to be on Thursday. I'm supposed to be seeing someone this Thursday, but he hasn't paid up front yet, so I don't know if it's on or not. But here's a question. I said that I want to focus on listening more and speaking less in 2020.
That's going to be a particularly difficult
really
challenge
difficult
for you.
Because there's always the hilarious line to deliver, the withering comment, or just the brilliant factoid that no one else on the planet seems to know. But I'm going to work on that.
This is going to be wonderful for me.
You're bastard. Okay, who's the role model that you can imitate for 2020? This is a great one. If you could be anyone, who would you be?
Oh, Elon Musk.
Really?
Except for the
living on Mars.
Except for the massive investment of his personal time in business activities. I want to have an actual life. But I say Elon Musk because, as you know, I've started to use the metaphor that we are like Tesla, in that when we put out a product, our ambition is to constantly improve it. So I've had a Tesla Model S for 5.5 years, and it has gotten better during that time because they keep pushing software updates and cool things. Like, it's winter now, and I can open the app on my phone for the car and turn on the heated seats. I didn't used to be able to do that. I could only turn on the heating in general, but I can put what we call the bum warmers on in this family.
And you need them in Canada.
Absolutely, and that's a nice feature that didn't exist.
Well, that's
so
depressing,
similarly, we put out our Hypnotic Power Inductions course course several years ago. Well, we happened to film a 4-hour class on that topic in Las Vegas, and we dropped it into the product and emailed every product owner to say, guess what? You already own this product, and we just made it way better. And I mean way better.
Yep.
We just added, it'd be like, giving somebody a free trailer for their SUV. Here
That's
you go.
nice. That's nice.
Here's a whole bunch of more stuff that you can do.
Now, the bum warmer seat things, you've actually depressed me by saying that, because do you know there's a recall on my Subaru about that?
No, I didn't.
And I've been attempting to ignore it. They're saying not to use the heated seats until this is fixed. Until Heather went online and said, the reason you can't use it is they can trigger the freaking airbag.
Oh, that's not good.
I get in the car and it's really cold, and I think, how long do I risk it having it on? Like, just waiting for the thing to blow up in my face and, send my arms flying back.
So we're like, to finish the metaphor, I want us to look at ourselves as being like Tesla because, A, we like to have fun. And if you look at what Elon Musk and his team have done, I mean, they've put a hilarious fart generator in their car as an Easter egg app.
See,
it's
that's a
stupid.
word that's not in my vocabulary.
It's stupid, but it's funny, Mike, right? It's really funny. And when people are sitting in the car and you make that sound come out of the speaker closest to their seat, it's hilarious. There's all these silly things, like at Christmas time, you can turn your car into looking like a Santa sleigh, and it plays sound through the stereo. Or there's a fireplace app or whatever now. You can sit in your car.
Yeah, so people are staring at a screen and crashing into the person in front of them.
No, it doesn't work while you're driving.
Now,
but
do you think Elon Musk is a gray alien? Someone asked me that.
No, I don't. Okay. But let me finish. So there's the humor, there's the continual improvement model.
Yeah.
So let's make what we put out there better. And there's the let's do things differently. Let's be innovative. Let's do things that others are not doing. So to me, he's a role model in those three
brilliantly
areas.
so. I totally admire the guy.
And for everyone else, they're going to have different role models, different reasons for picking that role model. But that's the one that I pick.
Yeah, and that you're entitled to, buddy. I'm inclined to agree with you on all of that.
And maybe you have a different, like I would not pick him as my role model for my relationship with my family. Because the guy probably works way too much.
Well, yeah, and you'd make them stay on Mars or something.
Yeah. But who else would I pick as a relationship role model?
Yeah.
Somebody else. I don't know.
Somebody who's kept their relationship together. That would probably be good, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that Elon hasn't. Not to say there's anything
wrong
with him.
He hasn't. But
right.
That's his focus is elsewhere. So from a business perspective, Elon Musk.
Right.
From a relationship or fitness perspective, it's going to be two totally different role models.
I thought you were saying me. Scary.
Yeah. All right. So
let's go to this one. Guys, everyone listening, ask yourself this before you go into 2020. What is your biggest time waster that is letting your life slip away? And this is a really important one, because I'm telling you guys, my wife and I just cannot believe how damn fast life is going. The perception of time as you get older, it's crazy. She has a theory. Canadian Thanksgiving is in October, not November. She has a theory that Christmas follows Labor Day. And it appears that once Labor Day hits, the beginning of August, all of a sudden it's Thanksgiving, Halloween, and then Christmas. Just bang, 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 like that. The year seems to accelerate. The older you get, the faster time passes. And I absolutely hate the fact that in my youth, I just wasted so much freaking time when I could have been learning or doing something productive or helping somebody. Buddy. What are you going to do? What's the biggest time waster in your life, and what are you going to do to fix it?
Yeah, there's not much time between now and hospitals and spoon feeding, Mike. So
my question for you, Chris, is isn't that the hospital where you died?
Do you want to tell that story really quick?
This
quick. Is so
I was
funny.
in Winnipeg circa 1976. 78.
Halloween,
Going to a Halloween party with 4 girls from University of Manitoba, and we were all going in a cab. And I didn't know them well, but they asked me to go with them, which was awesome. And I was a chick magnet back then. And so we're going past this hospital. And the one girl says, "What hospital is that?" And the other one just really weirdly says, "Isn't that the hospital where you died?" And the girl went,
"On Halloween."
Why did you say that? It was just such a dark, strange
This has become a hilarious line. Anyway, we're letting you in on the jokes because we want to make sure.
Someone.
All right.
Yeah.
And of course, me living in Port Perry, there's a hospital right on Old Simcoe that will pass by often. So I'm looking forward to driving people around and using that line. All right. What else do we have? Where are we in our notes here? I've lost our spot.
I think I think we got another one, buddy.
Okay.
It's we're here about
so biggest time. First of all, we were saying what's the biggest time waster?
Yes.
So what is it for you? What's your biggest time waster?
I'm honestly not finding much in the way of time wasting in my life anymore.
Maybe
And
naps, all those naps you're taking.
All those naps, 20 minutes a day.
I know.
Okay, maybe sometimes half an hour. But no, I wake up earlier than I ever have, just naturally. I don't sit around wasting time. You know, I used to much more, but you hold my feet to the fire, as John Lee Dumas said. You keep me moving on all the stuff I need to do.
If you
It's
can't,
horrible for a senior citizen.
So I would probably say for me, it is social media. There is this enjoyability factor, but it's not productive. It's not making my life better in the long run. It's just fun for now, right? So that's probably the biggest time waster. If you can't identify one for yourself, Mike's laughing because he was just doing a hilarious thing, which is inappropriate to talk about. If you can't figure out what your biggest time waster is, then think about what are you spending time on that isn't making your life better? Just think about it that way. What is not making your life better that you do spend a lot of time on? And you might find that it's TV. You might find that could
be something else.
Yeah, it could be anything. But anyway, just think about it, because there's a lot of stuff that we do day in and day out that if you really objectively look at it, you'd say, you know what, this is really a waste of time.
You know, I think we should cover 2 more points because they're connected.
And then in 141, we'll continue this topic.
Yeah, because it's a good one. We get a lot of stuff that if you adopt just a few of these, your life can be so much better next year. This is the kind of stuff we do all the time. Honestly, we got great lives.
A lot of this is about the metaphor that I like to use in any kind of situation is, what is the biggest hole in the boat that you need to plug?
Oh, that's a good one.
If you're in a boat and you're taking on water, before you start bailing out the water, fix the freaking leak.
Yeah.
Right? What's the biggest leak? And then once you've fixed the 2 or 3 biggest leaks, the smaller ones are only letting in a little bit of water. You're probably fine to start bailing the boat at that point.
That's good. Good metaphor. So here's the 2 that I think tie together. Which of your awesome skills, that says or, but it should be off. Which of your awesome skills is lying dormant? Like, what abilities do you have that you simply are not using?
Yeah.
And not just for your own betterment, but maybe for the betterment of someone else. What about you, Chris? What of your amazing skills are you not using right now?
Honestly, probably all the experience that I have in the finance industry and investing, I don't really do anything with it right now. I've been guilty of probably leaving my financial situation alone because, it's all just fine and running along. But I should probably invest some time in maintaining things and checking and going, hey, is everything still where I want it to be from an investment standpoint? Yeah, that's probably the one thing. And even teaching others and talking about it when this comes up. This is a skill that everybody needs to have, and I don't really spend any time teaching
You're a
it.
great teacher, Chris. You've really become an excellent teacher. And you can imagine how hard it is for me to say that when I'd rather be making a hilarious joke about
you turned me into a great teacher,
thanks,
so it shouldn't be that difficult.
Awesome skills lying dormant. You know what it is with me? It's my freaking British Jiu-Jitsu. I've not touched it in a long time. And so we're thinking maybe
Let's
going
go to
back
class
tomorrow,
this week. Yeah.
just neck crank and bag rip somebody. Now, how about this final question? And then we'll move on and close this.
This is a great one to end on.
What brand new subject will you put time into learning in 2020? Brand new.
Oh, man. I don't even know, because I've got such a list of things that I'm very, very early into learning.
Okay.
What brand new? Let me ponder that.
All right.
And it might just be an angle on a current subject. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I think everybody listening needs to think about that.
Yeah, so you're intentionally taking on something new. Yeah.
Things that make your life fun. Like, what's the brand new subject going to do for you? Chunk it up. What will that mean to you? Maybe it makes you more income. Maybe it makes your relationship stronger.
Or maybe it fills out your schema so you can draw from it.
Maybe it builds some security in your life so that any anxiety that you might have had around not being secure in certain areas of your life go away.
Nice.
But find the skill and learn it.
Find
a good teacher.
You know what I picked, buddy?
What?
I've got one of my great courses is unopened. I've been saving it. And I'm going to start it in January. It's university level oceanography.
Oh,
I'm going to learn that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
because
gonna be
clearly
awesome.
the new skill wouldn't be saving things that are unopened.
You're such an idiot. It's not even funny, but it's weirdly funny
is
because it
weirdly.
isn't funny. Okay, we're not doing an empowering question because this whole podcast is largely being
It
empowering
is
questions.
all empowering questions.
But I've got a metaphor.
Okay,
for
so
it,
we're
Chris.
not doing a made up commercial. We're not doing a empowering question. We're going right to the metaphor.
All right. And the Meta 5 for today is what became known as Britain's Roswell, or the Rendlesham Forest Incident. Even that title, the Rendlesham Forest Incident, kind of creeps me out. And over Christmas in 1980, Britain experienced a flap of UFO activity that was unprecedented. It was centered around Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk, where Carl Smith took me to have my picture taken, and 2 British military bases, RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters, both of which were rented by the American government. They were used as forward nuclear strike bases and also for A-10 anti-tank planes in the event of a nuclear war in Europe, so they'd be able to scramble and do all the business there quickly. In fact, it was one of the first places that the F-117A stealth fighter, which is actually a small bomber, was also located. But the weird thing is, over 3 nights, lights were seen over the forest, and then they turned into objects. And one of them actually landed in Rendlesham Forest, and a U.S. Air Force security team was dispatched. And one of the key people was Colonel Halt. Colonel Charles Halt has written on this extensively. And this is no mythology. This can be looked at online in the Ministry of Defense archives in Britain. UFOs spotted dropping metal fragments in the air, changing direction impossibly, farm animals going crazy, and then one actually landing and being seen on the ground with higher levels of radiation where to touch down. And Halt gave his deposition, which is the official version that this actually happened. It is undeniably a strange event, and not just lights in the sky or not a lighthouse seen from a distance. And the great joy for me is my dear friend Carl Smith got me a copy of Colonel Halt's deposition of this entire event, and he got him to sign it and had it framed. So I've got a connection with Rendlesham through Colonel Halt.
That is so freaking awesome and weird, Mike. But I love it anyway. All right, folks, this has been Brain Software episode 140 with Mike Mandel, and I'm Chris Thompson. And we hope that this has inspired you to think about ways to make 2020 your best year ever. As always, head to our website, Mike Mandel, 1 L in Mandel, hypnosis.com. You can also check out the events page, which is simply MikeMandelHypnosis.com/events, and come to Toronto. Check out our new training facility, which is freaking awesome, and make your life even better. All right, and we're going to continue this theme in podcast 141, which is scheduled for release on January 3rd, so it'll be the new year by then. But we'll continue this theme anyway, and we'll pretend it's not quite the new year yet. So, with that, it is time to say...
Thanks again!
And... Good night! Oh, what a good song.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. When you've got worries, all the noise and the hurry seems to help, I know. Downtown, just listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalk where the neon signs are pretty. How can you lose, Chris? The lights are much brighter there. You can't forget all your troubles, forget all your cares, so go downtown.
That's how we do it.
Downtown.
This
is how we do it.
And
downtown. That's how we do it.
Downtown. Town. Fade. Fade. Fade.
Oh.